me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
I'm torn between saying, I manage a public park versus I manage an urban space, because I kind of feel about it that kind of way as well, where yes, by definition, where I work is a park, but at the same time, it offers so many other things on site, as well as proximity to so many other things. Parks can be urban hubs. It's like if you've ever met a friend in a new city, they may say to you, hey, meet me at Bryant Park. At least you know where that is, and if your friend isn't on time, you have the opportunity to just chill out and enjoy the park for what it is. And there's spaces that bring us together and expose us to other adventures as well. So that's one of the things that keeps me really jazzed about this project.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, Leadership Series, where we highlight the people shaping communities and leading with purpose. Today, we sit down with Martin Nembhard, Vice President of Park Operations at Waterloo Greenway Conservancy in Austin, Texas, a visionary leader redefining what urban parks can be. Martin's journey began with internships at NYC Parks and Bryant Park, leading to key roles at the Highline and Miami-Dade parks. At Waterloo Greenway, Martin oversees a massive effort to reconnect downtown Austin through 30 acres of parkland, transforming concrete corridors into vibrant spaces for culture, nature, and community. In this episode, Martin shares how leadership in parks and rec goes beyond maintenance. It's about vision, equity, and creating spaces where cities can breathe. So whether you're designing the next trail, managing a festival, or dreaming up your city's next big project, this one's for you. Let's dive in.
All right, we're live again. This is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. I had a guest scheduled for today, but I'm not sure what happened. Maybe we miscommunicated. You know how it is when you do live shows every day, for those of you that do this. Okay, so before we get started, let me play a couple of promos and thank yous and all that kind of mess. Really enjoyed my time in Orlando. I'm still kind of trying to take it all in. We are going to produce some type of collage of our experience as the Daily Parks and Rec Show at NRPA, and then create something I think the whole group is going to love. Hopefully it's something of value. And I'm thinking, Chris, if you're listening, Kristen, Kathleen, and Jovi are three of our very talented video editors. So I'd like to create something that would be valuable for NRPA, a gift that we can give back to them for all the hard work that they've done throughout the years and hosting these events, about how important and meaningful it is to attend these live in-person events for the network, for the education, for the camaraderie, to really experience the spirit firsthand. Seeing it is almost irreplaceable. And to see it on a national level, to me, just helps people almost like reset and recommit each year. And so, Chris, if you could make some type of message like that, similar to how we've started to create these 2-minute explainers and commercials for the industry, I think that would be a good gift. Thanking NRPA from the Daily Parks and Rec Show. We'd like to thank NRPA for what they've done, what they continue to do, the message that they've been, the drums they've been beating for decades, and how valuable it is to the Parks and Rec community. I think we could create something truly special like that, and then maybe they could use it, maybe they can't, but I'd like to promote more of the work that they do and how important it is. And maybe we could even add some part of it so that throughout the year, the Parks and Rec professionals have to go to their city managers and ask for money for people to attend the annual convention. And if last year they sent 4 and they want us into 5th, they have to fight for that 5th slot. And so maybe if we created a video that would really sum up, well, why this is valuable to the Parks and Rec professional that ends up going, and how meaningful it is for them and the connections they make, and how much better your Parks and Rec professional staff member is when they get back from this event. And maybe that could make those conversations a little bit easier as they start to happen leading up to the next year's event in Philly, which is going to be a great one. I've never been to Philly, heard great things, so I can't wait. It's going to be a first time for me. But yeah, let's try to put something together for that. And while we're on the topic of content that we would like to create, Chris, hopefully you're still listening. By the way, Chris has been the one that has made some of these videos, the essential services video, the why Parks and Rec is should be considered as a career path. Great job on that, Chris. I've gotten amazing feedback. People were literally brought to tears in front of me by watching that stuff, saying that you nailed it. You really told the story well, and I agree. So hats off to it. I've gotten applauses, I've gotten tears, I've gotten we need to play that for everybody's. And so thank you. Thank you for your artistry. Thank you for your God-given talent, and thank you for deploying those gifts on behalf of the Parks and Rec industry. We really appreciate it. And I'm just relaying that appreciation that I saw first time. And I wish you could have been there to see. And again, I'm speaking to Chris, one of our video editors that is tasked to create these for the industry. And why? Because he edits 8 to 10 hours a day, nothing but Parks and Rec content. And so if anybody can help us tell the story of Parks and Rec, it's an artist, a video content creator that is immersed, totally immersed in the stories of Parks and Rec full-time, nonstop. This is all he does, along with really everyone on this on the team of the Daily Parks and Rec show and DPR's media company. This is not a part-time gig for any of us. We are all full-time, telling the story, lifting up, sounding the alarm for this industry of Parks and Recreation. Okay, so before I get too lost in my thoughts, Chris, we in addition to a thank you video and something that could be used, so I would like to thank NRPA in the video, and then I would like to also close it out by saying how valuable it is to its members, and how valuable it is to the communities that send their members, and how they come back better, on fire, ready to work hard, rebuild build their communities and commit. And if it costs you, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500 per head for flights and hotels and fees and stuff, it's worth it. You know, your aquatics director, your facilities manager will work with inspired vigor as a result of attending these things and seeing what other cities are doing and how they're facing their problems. And so, yeah, if we can make a video around that it's useful, I think that would be great to give to the Parks and Rec directors that are going to be fighting for more members to attend. And then the same can be said for the state conventions, but let's focus this one just on NRPA, because we're going to be attending a lot of state conventions, and we'll do the same for them as well. But I think that's, as content creators, as a media company representing this industry, I think this is what we can do to give back. This is what we can do to maybe capture the message, start moving the needle, lifting this industry up out of obscurity, which is unfortunately is where it finds itself at the university level, when kids don't even know that this is a thing that they could do with their career. So let's get busy solving that problem. All right. And then the other one, so I had a great interview yesterday with Mr. Jonathan Skinner, Papa J, out in California. He was one of the early forces of nature I met. Let's see, he was my, 116th video interview and my 282nd interview. So we made a part 2 with Jonathan Skinner from from 116 to 282. God, that's like 150 episodes later. Is that right? Yeah, 150, 160, something like that. So 160 episodes later, we do another interview, and it was so good. So go re-listen to that one. But towards the end, he was like, I have another idea of content y'all could create for the industry. He said, focusing on senior care, the elderly, people that are struggling, they're obviously older in their life, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Their spouses may be passed. They're living home alone. And they're fighting isolation at the end of their life, can get kind of lonely. Your kids are away, spouse is away permanently. And these senior centers are like lifelines where they can have community. And I'm not as familiar with the work that is done at these community centers. And I've had some exposure to them aside. Like when I was young, I used to volunteer at an old folks home for the 4-H Key Club. And so I have some exposure to that, but it was so long ago. I really want to maybe even capture a few stories. So with that being said, if you work in Parks and Recreation and you're listening and you know somebody that's doing a great job, that is passionate about running these seniors facilities in your city, in your Parks and Rec department, help me get in touch with some people that are just, this is their thing. They love it. They've dedicated their life to it. They see the power that it has. They've had a good experience themselves. And I'd like to kind of capture those stories about the power of the senior center and what that means to the seniors that come there at, kind of end of life, last 20, 30 years of your life, whatever, after retirement. And I think, Jonathan, you're right. That is a great story to be told. So Jonathan, I'm going to put you in a conversation on LinkedIn with Chris, and we can start trying to build this out, because I think that would add yet another great piece of commercial content, kind of 2-minute explainer about why senior centers are so important, the power that they have, the impact that they have in these people's lives, how important it is to them when fighting isolation, loneliness, whatever. So anyway, that's another great content idea that we're going to take on, and comes from Jonathan Skinner, Papa J. I really appreciate that. So with that being said, I played this next video for nearly all of my guests. I think I did play it for all of my guests, like 40 plus guests that we had. We did live interviews from NRPA starting at 9 a.m., running till 2, 3, and 4 p.m. each day. And I think we did 13, 14 videos each day, 15-minute interviews, take a 10-minute break, do another one every half hour. I thought I was not going to make it. But turns out if you eat really clean, just a little bit of protein, my mind was ready to go. I survived, and I actually enjoyed it. And hats off to Sherry for helping me out. She was texting people the whole time. Aaron Locks helped out a lot. And then Dave came in with 4 great interviews. Dave Ramirez with Outdoor Link, a former like 30 years in the industry of Parks and Recreation. Now he's working for Outdoor Link, but he had some really good interviews. So appreciate Dave coming on. And I know he was nervous, but man, did y'all see how well he did? He's a natural. And I think earlier in his life, he had a strong desire to do stuff like that, radio, stuff like that. And so he's just got a great stage presence. And we are going to be creating a show on the Internet of Things, smart cities. And I'm really glad to have him help out with that, because he really does have a good stage presence. He's a good interviewer. So Dave, if you're listening, can't wait to work with you and building some really cool stuff. And you got nothing to worry about as far as comfort. How am I doing? I mean, that's all internal, because externally you look great. And you had some really good guests. And that was on the I think Thursday. He had some of the last later interviews in that day. Okay, but anyway, we did play this essential services video. And it's getting a lot of hype and feedback. I mean, we're getting a ton of feedback from this video. It is already by far our most watched video we've ever created. It's just a little 2-minute. Let me go ahead and play it, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about the different parts of it, what we were thinking when we created it, and how it's useful, and how we would love to see it used by the industry to defend those valuable tax dollars that are coming into the park systems. So let's play this, and I'll come right back.
When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters, healthcare. But there's another essential service, often overlooked, yet always present: parks and recreation. Parks and Rec is health. It's the walking trail that lowers blood pressure, the recreation center where seniors fight isolation, the swim lessons that prevent tragedy before it happens. This isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Parks and Rec is safety. A playground instead of a street corner, a basketball court instead of trouble, a summer camp where every child belongs. It's not just about activity, it's about protection, prevention, and possibility. Parks and Rec is community, the festival that brings neighbors together, the cultural event that teaches respect and diversity, the open space where a city breathes. It builds bridges where division once stood. It gives people a reason to gather, to connect, to care. And Parks and Rec is economics. It strengthens property values. It drives tourism through events and trails. It saves on healthcare costs. Every dollar invested multiplies, feeding back into schools, into safety, into growth. Essential service is not just about survival, it's about thriving. And Parks and Recreation is where thriving begins. In wellness, in equity, in culture, and in joy. Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. For our health, for our safety, for our communities, for our future. A message from the Parks and Recreation community.
All right. So great job, Chris. I'm not sure. I think Chris made that all by himself, but I know Jovi and Kathleen really contribute a lot to everything that is in Parks and Rec, from the newsletter to the shorts to the thumbnails. Like, they're doing it all. So my hat's off to our creative team that's working tirelessly full time. Hats off to Sherry, if you're listening. Thank you for driving 10 hours, 12 hours twice there and back from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, rather, to Orlando, along with 2 little dogs, and which are here at my feet asking me for more food. And then setting up all those meetings. Oh my gosh, couldn't have done it without you. And really appreciate Aaron Locks. Got to meet him for the first time in the flesh. It was really weird. It was almost like a surreal experience that you can build such seemingly meaningful relationships and never meet these people. And so some of you guys I have been working with, Liddy Gutfeld, for quite a long time. Jonathan Skinner, a long time ago. I've been back and forth. They've been sending me great information. They've been supporting, sharing, cheering us on, sending me names, sending me ideas, helping me get involved with state conventions. It's amazing the outpouring of help we get on a daily basis, like literally every Sundays that night, like 7 days a week. You guys are like, I've got this great guest. You need to get them. I want to connect you with this person. They would be a great guest for your show. Have you thought about making a show about? Nonstop from this industry, from all corners of the industry. Every state literally is represented here, except I don't think I've interviewed somebody from Hawaii. Or they're from Hawaii, but they live in California. So maybe we'll count that one. And so just this outpouring of love and support. And then you show up in Orlando and there they are in the flesh. It was weird. I got to hug them. I got to take a picture with them. They weren't AI generated. That was cool. It's just really cool to meet people who you've connected with so well online, to see them in person. And I think that is why what NRPA does with this annual convention, physical in person, is so important, because it meant a lot to me to spend some time in the physical presence of these people that love and support the work that we're doing. And and I think that really speaks to the heart of that video that we made. Um, Parks and Recreation maintains, creates the green space, the physical property that the city owns, that is dedicated to the community's health and wellness. And these cities get to put in so much of what they want into the design. Parks and Rec professionals, when they design a master plan, they take sometimes a year to go into the community and say, ask those questions. What do you want? What do you need? Senior centers? Do we want more green spaces? Are you looking for more festivals and community events? Here's the list of things that we would think that would benefit the community, but you're the community. Let's hear from the people we're serving, whose tax dollars are funding this. And then they go build those things. It's amazing that you get these Parks and Rec professionals that ask the community what they want, and then they go spend their lives building it, putting these events together, building the community, building the culture, the sports programs, the aquatic centers, the festivals, the special events. And so these are also the same professionals that are fighting tooth and nail for the grant dollars, the tax dollars, the donations from local vendors to go execute the 20-year master plan that they were just instructed to go build. And so here you've got these very passionate Parks and Rec professionals that are super passionate about building, leaving a legacy, giving back to their community, building community, bringing all the cultures together in their community. And they've got this plan, and they've got where they are, where they want to be, how they're going to get there, and they've got their roadmap. And then next thing you know, they're on the chopping block to get like half their budget cut in half, just gone. And so now all of this work and effort has to get dialed back, and it's constantly happening. It's like boom bust cycles and stuff. So and COVID really God, that stretched our Parks and Rec department nationwide so thin. They were, not considered an essential service, unfortunately, until we realized, holy cow, this is one of the essential services when we're going through something like that. And so that's kind of why we made this video. This is something that we were thinking, what can we put in the hands of Parks and Rec professionals that find themselves trying to defend the value that they bring to their communities, to elected officials that have the power to fund or defund, to get the story going, to maybe frame it correctly, to lead with this narrative, and then start the conversation there. And so I hope that's how it's used. It's on our YouTube channel. It's for free. You don't worry about asking. I'm giving you permission. Take it, use it, deploy it. I hope it works. And that's kind of what we want to keep doing. Is we are content creators at DPRS Media Company. We create specifically and solely for the industry of Parks and Recreation. We want to build a 24/7 network that's just really great content about representing this industry and all the different facets of it. And then in the process, we can create these little short films, explainers that can be used throughout the year as, and so this was one of them that popped up. And so, hopefully it gets used. That's really all any artist wants to do is have their art form viewed and appreciated by the people that commissioned them to paint it. And so hats off to all our content creators. They're doing a great job, and it's an honor to give you a place to call home and to create content around. And they're honestly excited. I'm not sure if you know this. So did you know that America Parks and Rec is super rare, that in most other countries, there is no park or rec. There's nobody, there's no city government doing programming and aquatic centers and stuff. And I'm not saying there's not pockets in some countries that do stuff like this, but it is rare. It is exceptional. And as much as we think we're struggling here in the U.S., fighting for our Parks and Rec dollars, I'm told by some of our team members that we don't have anything like this in our country. It's like the park is the beach. That's your park. You go to the beach, there it is. Have fun, or climb a mountain. But as far as the city, community, municipal, that kind of stuff, it's this is a very American thing, and so we should treasure it and fight for it. Because if not, we could be lost, and that would be sad. Because I know there's so much that goes on in Parks and Recreation that I personally value and that I've seen valued. And you can just watch Aaron Locke's show and just see all the lessons that are taught with the little kids and coaching and that kind of stuff. All right, so on to our next one. We created this one. This is why Parks and Rec. So why should you consider Parks and Recreation as a career path? And I'm gonna just go ahead and play this, but essentially you would want to play this. Again, it's on our YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and share the channel so that we can get these messages out to as many people as possible. I just look at it as every day that clicks by that many Parks and Rec, future Parks and Rec people don't even know about this industry. They could just kind of miss the boat completely. But the more we can sound the alarm, raise awareness about this industry being a very robust, strong career path that's meaningful, the better. Especially when I hear some stories about universities really starting to pull their programs for Parks and Recreation, and we're trying to do just the opposite. So anyway, if you find yourself in front of a classroom of summer camp workers in orientation, or maybe giving a talk to a classroom of college kids or high school kids at some job fair or whatever, and you're going to give a testimony for Parks and Recreation, why don't you consider playing this 2-minute video first to start the conversation, and then you give your testimony. And that's how we would like to see this used, hopefully. So I'm going to press play and we'll come back.
Every career is a choice, but few careers let you touch lives. Not once in a while, but every single day. Step into a park on a Saturday morning. You'll hear children laughing on the soccer field, families gathering for a picnic, seniors walking the trails, finding health and friendship. And behind every smile, every memory, is a Parks and Rec professional. We don't just mow fields, we grow confidence in young athletes. We don't just build playgrounds, we create safe spaces where childhood thrives. We don't just plan events, we design moments that anchor generations. Think of the coach who teaches patience, the director who champions equity, the staff member who sees potential in a child no one else believed in. Every day, Parks and Rec professionals shape character, preserve beauty, and strengthen community. And the path isn't easy. Budgets are tight, resources stretched thin, but the reward, unmatched. Because what you give comes back in legacy, in healthier communities, in lives forever changed. So why dedicate your life to Parks and Recreation? Because here, your work never ends. It lives on, in laughter echoing across playgrounds, in green spaces preserved for the next century, in the young professionals rising to lead tomorrow. This is not just a career, it's a calling, it's a legacy, it's Parks and Recreation. A message from the Parks and Rec community.
All right. Another great job, Chris. Great video. All right. So if you're a kid, you're listening to this, you don't know what you want to do with your life, and maybe even you're a little slightly terrified, like the rest of us, about what does this AI do to my potential career path if I'm sitting behind a keyboard, if I'm you know, numbers cruncher. Is the AI going to be able to crunch numbers more efficiently and price me out of my career path? Maybe price the entire career path out of its existence. And I believe that is true. And I don't believe this because this is not a part of for those of you who don't know this about me, I have been very close to AI through Tesla, through a lot of the other um, data centers being built. Of course, uh, Bitcoin and AI are fighting over the same electricity and the electric grid. Massive players in this, and so I was close to it through that, and I've kind of followed AI um, daily, and by my measurement, AI will take a lot of keyboard-driven jobs. And unfortunately, children are college kids are getting degrees in career paths that are going to be decimated by AI. And so it's a legitimate concern. And for those of you that think that this right here, from here to here, and these little dexterity machines are going to save you, they are not. And if you don't believe me, you should do some research on Optimus, which is the Tesla robot that they're threatening to have 10,000 produced this year, 100,000 next year, a million the following year. A million robots rolling off an assembly line in Austin at $25,000 a pop is going to price the guys that do this. And we're talking about electricians and surgeons and plumbers and grass cutters and such. And so, because I was so close to that industry, when I think of an industry that flourishes in an AI robotics world, I see Parks and Rec and the work they're doing, building community, being in the community, coaching, swimming, lifeguarding, putting on special events. I see that in this industry flourishing and being one of the industries that benefits, not that gets destroyed, but that's made efficient and expands. My prediction is that the Parks and Rec industry will be made highly efficient by AI, and then it will explode. It will expand its reach, its depth, its breadth. There's going to be um, more services offered with less effort. There's going to be more festivals, more centers, more programming, and it's because everything is going to get a massive efficiency upgrade. And if you survive it, if it makes you better at what you do, versus replacing your entire industry. So I think like the industry of accounting can potentially get deleted, like literally. The lawyers can potentially just the industry may no longer be necessary. At least humans inside that industry, or maybe you have a few brilliant ones asking the questions, giving the assignments to these AI agents, and then the labor force will be replaced. And I don't want to make this all about robots and AI and that kind of stuff, but my point is we just played a video about choosing a career path. Well, as Wayne Gretzky said, it's important to skate to where the puck's going to be, not where it is. And so I would hate for young professionals to pursue a college degree only for that industry to be constricting by 10 and 20% a year over the next 5 to 10 years, because AIs can just do those motions much more efficiently for pennies on the dollar compared to having humans man keyboards with their meat sticks. Um, I think AI is going to have massive efficiency gains. And we can stick with the idea of accounting in the world of accounting, to where if there are, and I'm just throwing numbers out here, but let's just say there's 100,000 accountants in America. Um, with AI, maybe the same accounting could be done with 5,000 people. So that means 95,000 accountants are not going to have a job, and the 5,000 that are left are just going to be, you know, accountants, bookkeepers, CPAs are just going to be using AI to do the same amount of work. And so I think it's important for a kid to kind of map themselves to the future that exists, not to the future that they wish or dream about, but the reality is AI is here forever, and and so I think you want to move towards an industry that's going to flourish in an AI and robotics future. And I think Parks and Rec is an industry that flourishes in an AI and robotics future because as AI and robotics issues ushers in a world of abundance, um, what do people do with that abundance? They create beautiful things. They create beautiful parks. They want to be outdoor more. They want to do more community events. They have more free time to maybe experience the culture, go to a farmer's market, attend a yoga class, join a run club. Doesn't that sound like a lot of Parks and Rec stuff? Maybe join an adults league, play pickleball, tennis. Like this is what you would do in an abundant world, is to do more self-care, to do more relationship driven activity, to do more let's get out and about activity. Let's walk in a park. Let's have a family reunion. Let's go spend time playing and running and building community. This is the activity of an abundant world that I think would be a natural fit for the future coming our way. And so um, I think I think that not only if I'm putting forth an argument or a strong case for why I consider Parks and Recreation as a career path, yes, I can put forth a strong case on it. You will feel like you're making a difference. You will leave a legacy. You can build physical structures that will last 50 to 100 years, that will that families will play on, that people will have family reunions on, that little kids will learn team building lessons on. And if that's important to you, then Parks and Rec is for you. You will also be in charge of the beauty of your city, from parks to tree canopies to public trees, um, really just preserving from zoos to monuments. Like this is the cities are made beautiful on parks land that they're responsible for. And don't think of parks land as just the city park or where the playground is, but literally the medians, the entrances to subdivisions, the ball fields, like all of that falls under the Parks and Rec departments. And so if you want to take part in that and make a difference in your community and get paid to do it, yes, that's good. This is definitely an industry for you. But the case I'm trying to make is that Parks and Recreation is going to survive AI. I absolutely think it will survive. And if I don't think it will, I will say it here. I promise you. If I measure that Parks and Rec doesn't survive AI, or at least one of the last survivors, I think Parks and Rec is where we commune and hang out as a community. So it will be used, and I think there are going to be humans um, reaching out to the community and administering the services of Parks and Recreation. And now, you know, far down the road, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but I think this is going to be one of the more resilient ones that maybe is the last industry to fall. I don't mean to be all doom and gloom about robots take all of our jobs and we're just going to sit around and meditate and peacefulness and mindfulness and that kind of stuff, but maybe so. Maybe is that bad of a world? Okay. So today's content for today's show, I just really wanted to reflect on the NRPA convention. We had, let me see if I can pull up some of the people that we've met with. I wanted to give a shout out to everyone that came on the show. Let me just pull up our our LinkedIn. Oh, by the way, thank you for getting us, man. Our LinkedIn followership, I guess that's what you call it, followership, is exploding. We blew right past 1,500. I meant to celebrate it, and now I think we just broke 1,700. Picked up another 200 followers during the convention, so that was really cool. Well, I don't know how this works. Save. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah, we're at 1695, so we're getting ready to be at 1,700. Let's see. Obviously, we had Jonathan. Oh wait, before I get to that, while I was watching that video, I saw my buddies from Henry County. Let me just say this: Henry County, Georgia, has got to be one of the funnest places in America to work. If this doesn't work out and it collapses and I've got to go get a job because all my Bitcoin's gone and everything is gone to hell in a handbasket, I am going to be running straight to Henry County, Georgia, and asking Mr. Jonathan Penn to hire me, because let me tell you, these people do a great job, work tirelessly for their community, and have a blast doing it. And I got a chance to hang out with them and go to dinner with them in person, with Thomas and Brian and Donna and 2 other people that I met. One of them I should know. So I apologize for forgetting names. And then I was able to interview Jonathan Penn. Got to hang out with Thomas a little bit more here and there. Got to see Brian several times. And let me tell you, what you see on camera with the Rec Room, we co-create a monthly show with them every second Wednesday of the month, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. We create the Rec Room, which is basically Henry County, Georgia, Parks and Rec Department, showing you how they do what they do. And they are just going at it. And if they're not the best run Parks and Rec Department in America, I just haven't met the one that does it better than them. And if I had to give an award right now for people that are just swinging for the fences and having a blast doing it, it would be Henry County, Georgia. And meeting them in person was just like a surreal experience to see that same level of passion, like right in front of you in the flesh, at all of them. And then to go out and have dinner with them, to see how they really are just like one big happy family that just jokes around and has a great time. It was a real pleasure. So hats off to Henry County, Georgia. Y'all are doing it great, and it's an honor to be able to work and co-create with y'all here at the Daily Parks and Rec Show. And they're one of our biggest supporters and have been since the day we met. So I think Sherry found Brian, introduced me to Brian. He helped me with a couple of things. And then on the facilities maintenance show, and then he introduced me to Thomas, and Thomas is a force of nature, and he introduced me to the rest of the team from there. And next thing you know, we're off to the races creating together, and I love it. I love it. Really good group of people, and definitely a model Parks and Rec department to follow. And by the way, they've gotten a ton of awards, as they should. And I'm sure they're going to get plenty more, as they should, because sometimes all it takes is for you to just declare, we are going to be the best run Parks and Rec department in America. We're just drawing the line in the sand, and then whatever that means, we'll figure it out. And we're going to go for it. And I love that attitude. I love that. It's just, if you shoot for the stars and miss, at least you hit the moon, right? And so they are shooting for the stars. And I even think if they miss the mark and, maybe that we find 5 other Parks and Rec departments that are even better than them, go for it. I love the friendly competition. I love the camaraderie. And I hope that we live in an America where Henry County, Georgia is the 100th best Parks and Rec department, because that means everything that I'm blown away by in Henry County, Georgia, there's hundreds of others that are doing even better. I would love for that to, let's make that a problem. Uh, so, but in the meantime, they're the real deal. And I'm honored and glad to be able to work with them, to share their message, whatever message they have. So, Thomas, Brian, Jonathan Penn, anything y'all need from me, it's yours. You got it. I will do whatever I can to help y'all beat the drum and sound that message, because y'all are doing an outstanding job and serving y'all's community. And they will be speaking. They spoke many times at NRPA. I think they're speaking 14 times at Georgia, which we will be at. They're speaking in Louisiana, my home state, which we will be at. And I think they have many other speaking engagements to share the best practices of what's happening there with the rest of America. So, and then they come here monthly and they share even more, and we record it, and it's captured in our content library on YouTube that can be immortalized, entombed, memorialized forever. Maybe that's not the right word. It's just got evergreen content there. And so some of the lessons that and we learned from Henry County, Georgia, we capture it and we put it on our content library, which is what we try to do with everything here at the Daily Parks and Rec Show. All right, so last thing, we have now opened up. Oh, I have my guest here. Hold on, here we go.
Apologize for being a little bit late, Craig. I
Martin.
clicked on the wrong link and I was in the wrong waiting room, so apologies for that.
That's okay. I was actually going over our experience at NRPA and all the people that we met, and it was just cool to kind of give all my shout outs and thank yous, and so that was really cool.
Nice,
and we
man,
can
nice.
reschedule because I do have another meeting coming up.
No worries.
So we'll just, I want to give you.
I'm actually traveling towards the end of this week, but
Okay.
looking at my calendar real quick, if you'd like, we can work out the details over email or something like that.
Yeah, I'll hit you up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'll send you another link.
Yeah,
but while
I got about that, I clicked on the wrong link. So I was here thinking to myself this whole time, because it says the host can see you, be on standby to be accepted into the meeting room. And I'm like, yeah, Craig is watching me work this whole time, pulling together an agenda for a meeting with my boss later.
No, not at all. It was my fault. I think the link that's embedded in the calendar invites is not functioning right. So I have to generate a new link each time.
Well,
but while we have you here on the show, why don't you introduce yourself to the nation of Parks and Recreation? Because I think you have a really cool story. And this is, so guys, this is going to be a part one, a short part one, a teaser. And then we'll come back and do an in-depth with Martin, because we only got I got about 15 minutes left. So let's give a 15-minute teaser.
All right, let's do it. Hey, y'all. My name is Martin Nembhard. I'm Vice President of Park Operations for the Waterloo Greenway Conservancy in Austin, Texas. I've been in the Parks and Rec industry for about 20 years. Full backstory, I'm originally from Jamaica. Moved to the States, New York City in particular, back in late 2003. I'm definitely dating myself with that. But moved here for grad school to do a master's in urban planning at Hunter College. And I ended up interning for NYC Parks in their special events department. From there, I picked up an internship at Bryant Park in Midtown Manhattan. I was there for about 7 years, rose to the position of park manager. From there, I moved on to the High Line, where I was VP of Park Operations for about 5 years. Then I took my talents to South Beach, kind of like LeBron, to go and work for Dade County's Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces as chief of operations for about a year. After that, I got into some full-time traveling, and I've been in my current role in Austin, Texas for the past 6 years. So let me talk a little bit about the Waterloo Greenway. What we are doing is we are rebuilding and adding parkland to the Waller Creek corridor in downtown Austin. So when it's all said and done, we'll have added about 30 acres of parkland to the downtown fabric. We're building this out in stages because we're not made out of money. and there's a lot of stakeholders involved. It is a public-private partnership, so every asset that we're building belongs to the public, belongs to the city of Austin, but we manage it on behalf of our peers in the government. So part of the construction as well is a joint fundraising exercise where the city raises about 60% of the capital costs. We're on the hook for coming up with the other 30, mainly through philanthropic efforts, as well as our economic engine, which is the Moody Amphitheater located in Waterloo Park, which is phase one of that Greenway project. So we opened up Waterloo Park back in 2021, took us about 3 years to build it, broke ground in 2018. It's an 11.5-acre site with over 90,000 plants, all of which are native to Central Texas. We have over 500 trees on site, and our most notable architectural feature is the Moody Amphitheater, which is a 24,000 square foot building. I'm sitting in one of the dressing rooms right now. That's why the wallpaper behind me is a little bit funky. But we partner with Live Nation to produce up to 35 major concerts per year. And that's kind of what keeps the lights on and keeps us chugging along, building out more and more parkland to add to the public good.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those of you, man, you've taken a tour of some of the greatest cities in America. And now that you're sitting on Austin, my personal opinion, it's just an opinion. I think Austin's one of the greatest cities in the world.
Oh man, I like it. I like
if you haven't been, it's
it was always on my short list of places I'd be willing to relocate to. And when this opportunity came up back in late 2019, I jumped all over it. And I do like Austin. If anybody's listening, hasn't been here yet, definitely keep it on your short list of places to check out. It has all the big city amenities, but definitely a laid back vibe. So it's hitting that balance right now. So I hope we're able to somehow preserve that as we expand.
Yeah, and it's got a great. So I was kind of a live music snob, and when you live in New Orleans, you just get spoiled rotten.
Well, that's a good city for
scene. And so I was like, well, I do like Austin, but I don't know about their live music scene. And then I went there, and I was like, okay, this could work. I was very close. I was this close to moving there, and it's not over yet. So I may end up there.
I mean, there's time. It's not going anywhere. I remember the first time I came here as a tourist. This was 2015. As soon as I walked into the airport, getting off the plane, there's a live band. I was traveling with a friend. She and I went to Whole Foods. There was live music there too. So
yeah, and it's got a really good comedy club scene. Probably
the
best in the country. Maybe the best on earth. I mean, it really is.
It's all comedy and podcasting. It's a lot of that energy that's over here. And the comedy clubs are great. There's Cap City Comedy. There's the Mothership. And there's a bunch of other little stand-up things that take place around town. It may not necessarily be related to parks, but, we enjoy physically existing kind of at the nexus of all these downtown activities. Oftentimes I'm talking to people and they ask me what I do for work. I'm torn between saying, I manage a public park versus I manage an urban space, because I kind of feel about it that kind of way as well, where yes, by definition, where I work is a park, but at the same time, it offers so many other things on site, as well as proximity to so many other things. So I almost feel of it as parks can be urban hubs. It's like if you've ever met a friend in a new city, they may say to you, hey, meet me at Bryant Park. At least you know where that is. And if your friend isn't on time, you have the opportunity to just chill out and enjoy the park for what it is. And, there's spaces that bring us together and expose us to other adventures as well. So that's one of the things that keeps me really jazzed about this profession.
Yeah, and maybe describe a little geographically. Austin is kind of carved, right? It's split right almost in half by this. What's the name of the river?
By the infamous I-35. So I-35 runs north-south through Central Texas, and traditionally it's kind of been the unofficial divider between East and West Austin. And that division is not just geographical. Traditionally, it's been on socioeconomic and racial lines as well. So there's been a bit more kind of blending over the past few years. But going back to when I-35 was initially built, I think in the middle of the 20th century, it definitely cut the city in two. All these stories about redlining and everything else that you'd expect to be happening back then. I know Texas DOT has a plan where they would like to bury the lanes of I-35 as they pass through downtown Austin, adding more lanes, but kind of capping it off, similar to what they did up in Dallas to facilitate the construction of Clyde Warren Park, which is built on top of, these submerged highway lanes. Where paying very close attention to that as it unfolds. Or partners at the city, they would love to be able to add parkland and kind of heal that wound that is kind of separated East and West Austin. So we definitely have a seat at the table, and we're trying to drive that process forward. And the big thing for us is always adding more public space,
Yeah.
adding more parks, adding more opportunities for recreation and enjoyment.
Now your park is on that river?
We are not on the river. We're technically on the creek. So
On the
quick
creek.
Austin
Okay.
geography lesson. It's Waller Creek runs north to south,
Yeah.
and then it kind of hammerheads into Ladybird Lake or Town Lake, which is actually a part of the Colorado River. As
I
it
see.
winds its way through Austin, it just gets very wide in certain points. So
Right.
traditionally, locals have called it Town Lake. So we kind of intersect with that, and I'm super excited because we're currently building phase 2 of the Greenway project, which we're calling the Confluence, which runs from 4th Street down to that Town Lake. It's in the heart of all this kind of redevelopment in the Rainy Street area. They just topped out building the tallest building in Texas, this thing called the Water Line. And it's right up against our project. So down there, we're adding 1.5 miles of trails. We're doubling our plant count. So we're going up to close to 200,000 plants, and we're tripling our tree count to 1,500 trees. But what excites me the most is just the foot traffic, because
Yeah.
this second phase is being developed in a busier part of town with direct access to the hike and bike trail around Town Lake, which sees over 5 million visitors using it every year. So I'm
God.
excited for that new pedestrian energy. It's going to bring its own set of challenges, but it brings its own set of opportunities with it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely find your way to Austin if you can. Great city, one of the big up and comers.
And I
And
love doing tours. So if you show up at Waterloo Park, just ask for Martin, and if I'm around, I'll show you around.
yeah, well, I will maybe on my next visit to Austin, we'll do this another interview together. We'll find some place to set up.
Awesome, man. Like depending on the time of year, depending on if we're in showbiz mode or not, I got a ton of dressing rooms. I got a green room. We got all kinds of things here that we can use
Yeah.
to facilitate a good conversation.
Yeah, that's be great. Well, all right. Well, what I'll do is I'll send you another link and we can schedule, because I really want to do an in-depth of your just career coming into it. I want to talk about your time in New York City and then you said you went to Miami as well for a
Yeah,
year?
I was in Miami for a year with Dade County's Parks, Recreation, Open Spaces.
Yeah. And that's the biggest, I think, in the state.
It is definitely the biggest in the state. When I was there, it was the third largest parks department in the country. We had responsibility for 275 sites, everything from small neighborhood parks going to the beach maintenance contracts with South Beach itself. So pretty much everything from Hialeah to Homestead, from the swamp to South Beach. So definitely kept us busy.
Now, you think Austin has claimed you for the rest of your life? I know it's hard to predict the future, but it looks like you might.
It's super hard to predict the future. I can tell you this, Craig. I like it. I like it enough that I committed to buying property here about 2 years ago. So
Oh, that's a serious commitment.
so, yeah, I'm kind of stuck for a while, but I'm not complaining about that.
Fantastic. Well, now you're yet another excuse of me to go visit Austin
Please
more.
come visit, man.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming by, even though it's kind of we made it at the end, but we're gonna do it again and do
No
like
worries, man. This is the teaser. We'll get into it and chop it up some more.
that's it. Well, have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to having you back on the show, man.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Craig. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Martin.
All right, bye.
All right. So that was my my guest. As per normal creation of content, you just get technical issues. Your lines get crossed. We do our best to try to mitigate that as much as possible. Martin, that was probably my fault. I should have hit you up yesterday about the link problem. So I'll just say this publicly. If you're coming on the show, right now I've got a show link in the Calendly app that is supposed to be able to work for future shows, but I just cannot create that. So I end up creating a different link for every show. So what I'll do is a few minutes before the show, usually a little about 10, 15 minutes, I generate that link and I send it to you on LinkedIn. And that's kind of how we get this thing going. With that being said, I'll go ahead and end on this. If you are creating content for this industry, I don't care if you're just like a little podcaster doing one show, just one show, or if you're going to do one show a month, or if you maybe want to do a weekly show, or if you want to go live, or if you please reach out to me. We want to help you. We need content to distribute on behalf of this industry, and we'll help you even package it um, and give it back to you. And it's your content, free of charge. I'm just looking for to boost the signal of Parks and Rec. In a noisy world, Parks and Rec, in my opinion, is signal. And so we want to boost that among all the other content that's out there. I think this is an industry that needs more content creation, not less. And so if you're a Parks and Rec professional out there, reach out to me if you'd like a hand. And I can, at minimum, I can tell you all of our tech stack and hardware stack, our software that we use, the things we subscribe to produce what we do, whether it's editing, sound engineering, the AI tools we use, the tricks of distribution, the tricks of posting and stuff like that. I don't mind opening up the whole playbook and giving you what works for us. And then maybe we can have a team of content creators. And then also, we're building out a very robust model for attending a state and the NRPA convention, so that we will really start to dial in what it means to attend a Parks and Rec state annual convention, cover it well, capture the spirit of that year's event, produce content around it, give it back to the people that ran that state convention so that they can then use that to promote future events. And then we can also use that to promote the industry in general. So we're starting to dial that in. Every event convention that we've attended, we've gotten better and more equipment, more. We've had more team members working with us. We've done more interviews. Our editing's getting better. So it's always improving. And I think we're slated for at least another 7 that we're signed, committed to. And I assume, and this is before the year even really gets going. Well, no, we got 2 in November. So we'll be going to Georgia and Kentucky in November. And then we got Louisiana coming up. So yeah, we've got a nice little effort going towards what the in-person events look like and how we cover them and how we create media around it. In addition to everything we do at the Daily Parks and Rec Show about doing online content and interviews and stuff like that. And we also have our newsletter. So we're just kind of building on all fronts. And I think we've got a great, and this kind of feels like the end of a year, because if you go look to some of my earliest videos a year ago, I was in Atlanta with a cell phone asking people what they thought about creating a company, what we could do, a media company for the industry. And that's where we kind of launched it. And so our kind of soft launch for the Daily Parks and Rec Show was in Atlanta. And now we're fast forward all the way to Orlando. It's been nearly, I don't know the exact dates of each of those, but it's about a year. And so I can't wait to see what we do between Orlando and Philly. Now we've got a whole nother year to do that with all the momentum and all the people on the team and all the connections that we've made. It's just going to be a beautiful year, and I can't wait. I'm really excited about the next 12 months. All right, so I have to close on this. So if you are a vendor and you would like to help us build this media company for the Parks and Rec industry, now's your chance. Reach out to me. We are in negotiations right now with probably approaching 20 large. Now, this is a national syndicate. This goes out to the country across all social media platforms. So I don't know how much sense this makes for somebody that does work just in Louisiana. Aside from we go to those state conventions and help them cover that, and then we blast it out. But this would make sense for somebody that does work across America. So if you are a company that would like to help create content for the industry of Parks and Rec and communicate your brand to the entire country, then this is what we do. And our goal is to grow this thing out into the next ESPN but for Parks and Recreation. So if that interests you, we've got a little promo that I'll play real quick. Actually, I'm going to switch this out, and then I'll just use this as my outro. set as outro video. So we'll go ahead and close with that. So again, this is Craig LeBlanc, the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Martin, thank you for stopping by, giving us a little teaser. We're going to bring Martin back up and do a deep dive. I didn't want to try to squeeze in a full-on interview in 15 minutes because he has got a great story, and I really think is a great Parks and Rec professional. So hats off to Martin. Plus, it's Austin, and I love to talk about Austin. I very close to moving there, may end up doing it anyway. But anyway, we'll get him back on, and we'll do a full-blown interview. All right, so this is Craig LeBlanc. Thank you to everyone that saw us, interviewed with us at NRPA. Really appreciate it. Thank you to the team for all that y'all are doing. Thank you. Huge hats off to Henry County, Georgia, for supporting us the whole way. Great meeting that team. Thanks to my host, Aaron. Thanks to Outdoor Link coming on as our latest sponsor, and Dave Ramirez. Great people. DJ Tasha, Craig, Joseph, awesome team there. Great Alabama company. So we'll be producing a lot more content with them. And finally, hats off to NRPA. Great job, guys. Awesome convention. Great attending it. And I can't wait to see what kind of magic y'all pull off in Philadelphia next year. So we'll go ahead and sign off with that. Love you guys. See y'all here again tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.
At DPRS Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service. It's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of parks and rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Youth Sports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.